Hello everyone, I'm Chris Mozillo Seamuson, and this is Monster Hunter World. Well, this isn't Monster Hunter World, this is just outside, but it is a world. Although the monsters in it aren't scaly and like dinosaurs, they just live in skyscrapers and wear suits. Anyway, Monster Hunter World. Once again, Monster Hunter games are back in the West on the console market. What with the last installment taking place in the Wii, all the way back in 2009. Or, well, Wii U as well, but let's ignore that. With Monster Hunter World, you're embarking into a whole new world, quite literally referred to as the New World, filled with new monsters and new mysteries for you to discover and enjoy. You are a band of adventurers and researchers, or an individual within said band.
Hey, aren't you one of the A-list hunters?
What? No way! So are we!
Which basically means you're main characters, and speaking of characters, you get to make your own. Isn't that nice? I think I've managed to make something I like. Oh, I did not expect the face to move like that. You also get to create your own little cat companion, and as I've already got a cat companion of my own, I'm going to make my old dead cat from my childhood. Oh my god, so cute!
Meowdy-doo.
Oh god, so cute! Your new adventure goes wrong, as things invariably do. Oh, so cute. Sorry, I'll stop. I swear. And welcome to the new world, filled with new indigenous life for you to murder, I mean research.
The new world.
There are so many dinosaurs to see in this new land, it's like an alternate telling of Jurassic Park. As instead of being eaten by raptors and rexes, you can fight back with a sword that's larger than your own body, while a cat swings a tiny lute around. Sorry. It's great seeing these dinos as well, as some of them seem even slightly more realistic than previously, such as the Anjanath, which seems more based on the modern interpretation of a T-Rex. Well, maybe not anymore. So, the story of Monster Hunter World is one of research, because you and your fellow hunters are researching the Elder Crossing, in which large elder dragons are migrating to this new world, such as Zora Magdaros, the mountain you met earlier in the game. You and your fellow merry hunters and researchers are all trying to work out where Zora Magdaros is going and why, in hopes that they can finally get to the bottom of this mystery of the Elder Crossing. And to be honest, damn the consequences. Mostly because the consequences do tend to involve the wholesale slaughter of every single living creature you happen to come across. Nature abounds in Monster Hunter World, and that's a problem. The local monsters never seem to appreciate that you're there to do some work, so often they have to be put down. Whether you want to set up camp and need to murder a monster that's in the area, slay a foe that's gotten in the way of your investigation, or just a monster that's a little bit annoying, there'll be plenty of reason to go out with your massive sword and smash some monsters to death. It does raise some questions on intervention with nature, as some of the monsters don't even attack you until you take your bagpipes to their face. That's not a euphemism. Sure, some monsters will attack you and are a ferocious nightmare, and you can argue that you're just defending yourself, but you were also just stealing their eggs to turn into a delicious omelette. There is also a sad moment when the monster just stops resisting, turns tail and begins limping off, in which your only choice is to sheath your weapon and start running after it like some kind of Terminator. hopefully to slay it once and for all. It's these moments where you get back to camp and really have to wonder how you can cope being a hunter of monsters. But with all this talk of hunting and murdering, you have to often wonder, how does this all happen? Other than by your own hands. The combat in Monster Hunter World is something you could be fooled into thinking is pretty simple. Pick a weapon and just swing that sucker around like there's no tomorrow, slapping that baby into or around the face and or posterior of any large creature that may look your way. Simple! Or is it because, oh my god, before you know it, every single weapon has their own combo moves and special abilities, and what on earth does this thing even do? From giant swords to bagpipes to bows to machine guns. There'll almost certainly be at least one weapon you'll find that will work with how your mind works. But your weapon is only touching on the surface here, as there's also the slinger, which will fire a variety of pellets at your foes for different effects, as well as bombs and traps and other such items. And don't even get me started on how the environment can be used in combat, because it's really cool and interesting, and when some of these things happen, they're genuinely impressive. Oh, hello there, you caught me stalking my latest prey. You see, this is one of the great things about Monster Hunter World, is it makes the whole thing seem so, well, alive. When you're out hunting in the world and you're walking through the brush, stalking your foe, or maybe you're following a trail of monster prints to get to the beast's nest, or if it's just a world filled with animals and life, both huntable and ambient, the world is just bustling with life to see while you're out hunting your prey. You're not limited to one foe per mission either, as there'll be more than one monster living in this forest, and you can easily find yourself being interrupted by another, larger foe, bursting into your fight and giving you a bad time. Each monster has their own nest in their own territory. You might spot a monster chowing down on a smaller beast for food, or maybe two large monsters will come across each other, and they'll have to fight amongst themselves. Not to mention, the world all looks so beautiful. Just exploring around the maps and coming across a sudden vista, and just having a moment to reflect upon yourself before heading out to get back to murdering dragons. Not to mention, you can just take a moment to yourself to sit down at the cat canteen and enjoy a drink while watching the sunsets. One final thing to touch upon in Monster Hunter World, as is in any Monster Hunter game, is the world of fashion. One of the great reasons for hunting these monsters, other than research, is to get your hands on their flesh so you can turn it into a new suit of armor for yourself. I really need to go find a cat. As you hunt monsters, you'll gather resources from their bodies, which can be used to upgrade your weapons or turn into better armor. The cycle of killing bigger monsters to get better equipment so you can then kill bigger monsters to get better equipment is fierce. And once you get that initial itch to build something, like a deadly rash, it will spread off all over you. And before you know it, you've itched away and scratched it enough that you've torn off your own skin to make a suit out of it. In a good way. The process is a simple one where you decide on an outfit you want, then look at the monster that you need to kill, see what it's weak to, then look to making a better weapon for that, which requires parts from another monster. So you then look at that monster and then see what it's weak to, and before you know it, your shopping list of monsters to kill has become quite long, and it's now tomorrow. And while this might actually just all sound like some terrible crack addiction as you're rubbing monster pieces into your gums. At the end of the day, it's actually really satisfying work, especially once you get that full set of armor and finish off that look that you've been aiming to get. Although with all this fashion, some of these outfits do seem a tad odd for the trouble you go through. Verily, I have acquired the spoils of hunting monsters. What, pray tell, thee may ye turn into the armor? Verily.
Yar, with this we shall make but the finest of armor that ye may ever have seen. Yar, 'cause I am a blacksmith. Yar.
Honestly, Monster Hunter World is an outstanding game. There's just so much detail and finesse into everything. The worlds are so like full and dense with stuff to do and vegetation and life and animals and brushes and all sorts of bits and pieces and collectibles. There's just so much to do, and you may feel overwhelmed, but you suddenly find yourself learning what to do and getting into the swing of things. Not to mention being able to just play online fairly easily by firing an SOS flare into the sky and, I don't know, a bunch of random Japanese guys suddenly appear out of nowhere, and then there's just something quite comical about seeing 4 people just wailing on this monster as it lies on the floor. Sadly, you still do have the same old issues with almost every Monster Hunter game in Monster Hunter World, in that some of the monsters have the all too prevailing tactic of just running backwards and forwards over and over again. So you can find yourself, being knocked over, getting up, running over to the monster, only for them to turn around and run over you again. And it's a little tedious, and you might get stunned and die because, well, they just kind of, monsters fall into this weird infinite loop of just doing the same thing over and over again, and you can't actually hit them or anything like that. But otherwise, honestly, Monster Hunter World, mwah, brilliant game, all the right hits, so like one of the best games I've played in a while, and honestly, it's like the best Monster Hunter could possibly be that I can think of. I love it. Anyway, thank you for watching my video. If you look in the description below, you might find a written piece I've done to go alongside this little video thing. Hopefully that goes into possibly more detail as to why Monster Hunter is this outstanding game with a bit more of an opinion on it. And yeah, if you want, leave your own comments about how much you love Monster Hunter in the description, in the comment section below. Thank you and goodbye.